Hey, thanks for joining me today. My name's John, and I'm the owner of The Art of Concrete. If you're in the Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, Guelph area in Canada, feel free to reach out to me for a quote, or you can go to our website at theartofconcrete.ca for an instant quote. Okay, guys, let's get started here. This video is about me and my nephew Ethan. We are stamping some seamless Roman slate concrete here in Cambridge. Okay, so this video is really about how the sunlight and the shade is affected while you're doing concrete. Here we have pretty much a 50-50 shade to sun mix, and what you're going to see is just how hard the concrete is to stamp in the sun here as opposed to in the shade. So the concrete in the shade is a lot softer. We had to wait about, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes to go ahead and stamp that area. So we started in the sunlight because that area was a lot firmer. So the sun is very firm, but the area in the shade is a lot softer, and the surface is wetter as well. Okay, so a couple really important things here are, as you can see me up on the step here. So the step doesn't have any powder release yet. And what I'm doing is I'm just hand floating that using an edger right now to get that surface nice and smooth so that we can prepare it to put the stamp release powder on and then stamp the concrete. So really, I'm just prepping this thing so that we're all good to go. Okay, so here in Canada, we get temperatures that sway from -30 in the winter to well over 37 degrees. And with humidity, some days it can feel like 43 or 45 degrees Celsius. So, there's a lot of very important things when you're doing concrete in Canada, especially stamped concrete. A couple of those things are to stamp later. So you don't want to really get on the concrete too soon because what's going to happen is you're going to not only pull up the surface of the pattern, or you're going to actually imprint little puddle areas for water to sit and freeze. So the trick is, like, we're able to walk on this and we're not really leaving any footprints. So that surface, once we're done, is going to be nice and flat. So if we basically went on here too soon, now you're going to get footprints because you're essentially walking on a surface that's starting to harden. It's not fully hardened. So what's really important is that all of the areas get stamped evenly and consistently along the sunlight and shaded areas. Okay, so the pattern that we're using is a seamless Roman slate. These mats are super light compared to the other concrete stamps in the market, and they're easy to use. So a lot of the time companies will use this, or guys that are stamping, because it's faster for them. It's nice, it's seamless, but it doesn't have the detail that some of the other more difficult patterns have, like Pennsylvania slate or the old ashlar slates, and random stone patterns. So this one here, it's kind of, I would say, more of a beginner style of pattern. Again, you want to get yourself a smaller area. If you're going to try something like this, please practice on a smaller pad, or go out and take a look at someone that's doing it and maybe ask if you can work for free that day. But this is by no means necessary something that somebody can just go and do without any experience. Even though it's a simple stamp pattern, it's really, really important to follow specific steps when you're doing concrete work. So educating yourself and getting the hands-on experience is very important. If you're interested in learning more hands-on experience as opposed to the YouTube videos, we offer hands-on experience classes. Now they're limited time offer, and we only hold them through the fall and the winter season here in Canada. So if you're interested, head over to my website, theartofconcrete.ca, and there's a little tab you can click for concrete classes, and you can join the newsletter and also get in contact with me to stay up to date. Because sometimes I'm going to be having promos and giveaways and things like that. So you just want to make sure you check that newsletter out, because you're going to be able to save some money and also gain some more experience in the concrete industry. A couple really important things here, when we're doing this seamless slate is we're actually, when we pick up these stamps, we're essentially picking them straight up and straight down. So similar to the way that a helicopter takes off and lands, that's how we're picking up these stamps. It's really important to do this because the concrete will get scratched. So if you were just to grab one of these handles and pull it off the concrete, it's going to scratch it, and permanently, for the lifetime of that concrete. So we're talking about many years. And what I find when I'm doing concrete work, that it is really important, not only to me, but to the end result of the product, to make sure that the customer is 100% satisfied, is that we're just looking after these little details, to make sure that that we can do the best that we can for the customer and also for ourselves. Okay, so what you're going to see here is Ethan, my nephew. He's the one without the straw hat on. That's me. And my name's John, if you didn't catch it at the beginning. And essentially, what we're going to do here is just get these seamless mats up close to the house, and start stamping that edge. So Ethan does an excellent job. He goes through this pad with the tamper. So that's just a rubber tamper, a metal bar with a rubber piece on the bottom. And he's just going to go along and stamp along that wall there. But what's really critical, is, like, you want to focus and not get too much into conversations when doing this kind of stuff, because you're going to miss a spot. And so when we're working along here, we're stamping the entire area. You can see that texture right there. If we miss an area like a couple square inches or something like that, it's going to show, and it's going to take away from the value of the texture, and how this is going to look in the end. So it's really critical. I would say the top 5 tips would be covering the area perfectly, or the best that we can, and getting that stamp texture fully into that concrete. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this again. Couple of really important tips. Always make sure, in the areas that are in the sunlight, the concrete is going to be much harder than the areas in the shade. Also, getting the whole area troweled really nice and smooth to get it ready for stamping. And not to get on there too soon. Always test, we always test a little area with the powder just to see what kind of imprint we're going to get so that, we get the best result here. And the other thing here is just not stamping too hard. Like we're just consistently checking to make sure. So as we're stamping, some areas might be softer and some areas might be harder. But it's up to the tamper operator here. In this case, it's Ethan. He's stamping that in a way to make sure some areas might need a bit more hammering down or just a light tap. It just really depends. So these are things you just want to look after as you're doing something like this. If you're in the Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, Guelph area, you can actually go ahead and enter our 10K backyard patio makeover. So this is a giveaway we do every single spring. And you just have to go to our website, theartofconcrete.ca to enter. But this is only for Canada within this region. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And also, I'm just a small concrete contractor. I own a small business, and I'd really appreciate if you guys could share this or even just comment and subscribe. Also, to keep posted with our next videos and what's going on in the future, turn on the notifications button so that you can get our updates and our giveaways and stuff like that. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.